Hey guys, what is up? AwesomeTheSauce here. And I thought I would make this vid because I really like PvPing on my depth. And I just happened to get the Duelist Fatal Razor today, which is a really important piece in your PvP gear at Prodigious PvP. So I thought I'd do a gear and deck setup because I think it's worth seeing, because I feel like a lot of decks don't do offensive 1v1. I think at this point with these stats, I really do think I'm going to be heading up. I'm captain at the moment. Like I literally just hit captain and went back down off of like you'll see anyways in a future episode. But I have 25 won and 13 lost, and only 3 of those losses, only out of those 13 losses, 10 of them are from before I use a strat. So this is like, I think, a very reliable strat if you want to rank up to a decent, modest level. So commander, if your goal is commander, I think this will get you there. So hear me out. Basically the way the strategy works, first off, let's start with deck. It uses a segregated deck setup. So basically, what does that mean? I trained all the dispels. I trained stun block, tower shield, and I have some set shields. And I have auras, reshuffs, a few utilities like juju, some cloaks, and some blades. That's my entire deck. I have 3 red ghosts for my pet, but you know, it's all utility in my main deck. Now the reason for this is because if I need to hit, all I need to do is discard my hand and draw for it. And I have a lot of things to discard, because let's say I'm going against a balance, I have all these 6 other dispels that I can discard. So it's very easy to discard and very easy to pull. This way, I'm not really setting for anybody when I'm playing. What I'm doing, I'm preparing for everybody. So that's the way this part of the deck setup works. And it's very useful, especially when you cloak things like stun blocks. You play a little mind game with your opponent. Well, here I have just shields and stuns, but I have Myth Banshee. Now, Myth Banshee, I just PvP'd, so I'm going to put more right now. Myth Banshee is an extremely important part of this setup. Basically, the way this works, if you notice, I have a lot of blades here. I'll be able to pull one of these blades normally by 2nd or 3rd round. And I'll be able to pull one of these blades. Again, I need probably 2 more for this to be more accurate, but I guess I'm out. But for now, let me see. Let me just add things. Yeah, let me just add those. Just buffs. Right now, if I pull that and that, I'll have a total of 6 pips. I can use a Myth Banshee, and if I have a Shadow Pip, I can use a Krulu or a Winged Sorrow, and that's actually about 5k damage right there, normally. And that's my opening move if they don't stun block. And this basically gets rid of weaknesses and tower shields, and if they set shield, yes, that doesn't work, but it's still a great way to trip people up, because people don't expect this spell. That's the first part of my strat. That's how this deck setup works. You blade, Myth Banshee, and Krulu or Winged Sorrow. It'll get you extremely far in quick matches. I've been doing it in quick matches a lot, and it helps quite a bit. And it's still a really good spell to have in case you build up pips. It doesn't work against balances because they'll mana burn you, but it works against every other school, and therefore it's a really good addition to this game, I think, in my opinion. It's a really good spell. A hit and stun for low pips that any school can have, that's something that, you know, it's significant. The other part of this, though, besides the shadow pips and the Myth Banshees, is that I have a Skeletal Dragon. Now, these are when people cast set shields. If you notice, I don't have strikes in, which is actually a huge problem. So one sec. Let me take out these dispels and put in 3 strikes and 1 more balanced dispel. This is basically my main deck. Sorry, I had my quick match setup up. But basically, the way this works, I can either strike and do what I need to do, or if I want to save the round, I can just use a Skeletal Dragon. So if they have a set shield up, that's when you use a Skeletal Dragon. And finally, I have... Oh, that's why. Hold up. I don't have vampires in. That's why I had emptiness in my deck. I have vampires and ghouls to get drains, and drains are extremely important. If you have an open shot and where you think that your opponent won't shield, but you don't have a shadow pip, and you don't have blades, like that's if you want something to spam, basically. Vampire and ghouls are a great idea. They shield break, and sometimes they also give you health back. It's a very important thing to know how to use. And if you notice when I play, if I'm low on pips, I use these a lot. Like ghouls, like if I have, let's say, 3 power pips and I don't have a shadow pip, but I need to stall for time, I'll use a ghoul and get some health back and still have 5 pips for a shadow pip when I need it. That's basically the gist of it, guys. I mean, I have some stalling spells like stuns and mantles, but you see the side deck, it's almost all hits. And you see the main deck, it's completely utility based, and it works very well. Now, as far as my stats. You guys can see it's pretty decent. It's a work in progress even still. I have 100 pip chance, which is very important. I would always aim for this. High 90s if not. I have 31 pierce. Now, because of my excess block, if I did have my Darkmoor wand, I would try to actually wear that. But for now, I don't have that. So my pierce is going to be at 31 and my block is extremely high. So this is the way I do it. But I'm going to add on to how I'll go improve these stats after I go through all these. My crit, you know, it's just 31%. It's nothing major. You don't rely on crit with this strategy. It's just not a smart idea. That 31%, you know, it'll help sometimes. Sometimes it'll, you know, it'll troll you. It's whatever. You don't need to rely on crit with this strat. So honestly, the only reason I have this crit, if you notice, is because other things that give a lot of block also give it. Like my deck, my wand. Obviously my hat and robe, I use them for other purposes. I don't really use them for the crit. So the crit is a very useless stat, in my opinion, for death. But, you know, you can experiment. My damage is above 100, and that's exactly what matters. Now, you might be wondering, why do I have this wand and not this wand? It's because of the death wand hit. You're gonna want something, because death is a major blade stacking school, you're gonna want an off-hit spell. Now, that doesn't necessarily mean you have to use this, because if you look at it, you're actually losing 5 damage, which could be, you know, like, if we look at this, it doesn't look any different. My stats look exactly the same. I mean, yeah, sure, 1% less block, 1% less crit, but the 5 extra damage is actually pretty significant. The reason I don't use it is because I like getting rid of weaknesses very easily, and this is the best way to do it. My resist is over 50, and I really recommend high resist, because what I heavily use shields and fortify, and if you have good solid base resist behind that, you won't have too much damage on you. My block is 527. This is a very, very important stat. This wizard has the most block out of all my characters, and if you really look at how the schools are made up, Death and Ice have always had the most block out of all the schools. If you look in the past, that's just how it's been. So this is probably the low end of what my block is gonna be like. I don't have any block jewels, and we're looking at about 3 different slots of block jewels that I'm gonna be needing to use. Right now I have the tier 2 amulet, and that comes with 1 square slot, and I'm gonna go for one with 2 square slots so I can put 2 block jewels. My my duelist daredevil ring, I'm gonna update it a lot. The health is gonna be updated, and the stun block is gonna be replaced with regular block. So with that, I would get 21 more block, because I'd have 7 block jewels, and I'd also get just I think 2 more block from here, so that's 23. That gives us 550 block. That's what I'm gonna end up with. That's my block, and I'm not gonna have stun resist. But the good thing about having that much block is that you don't really have to rely on conviction, just stun blocks. And if you cloak them, go for it. It's a great thing to cloak, but you know, that's just up to you. Now, that being said, I have my accuracy also. It's only 19 at the moment, and there are 2 things that I could do. Right now, I still need the triangle slot deck, so let's see if I can find one. See, like, basically like this, right? Let's say I had a 5% universal accuracy. This would be what I'm rocking, and this is probably what I would put. I would put a 5 universal accuracy, just because I wouldn't want to fizzle things like weaknesses, which are 90% accuracy. But the other thing I could do, which I'm definitely interested in, is putting the blade card, you know, the blade item card in my triangle, which is definitely an option, which I would need to look into. But I definitely think that having more than 19% is a smart idea, because your new spell, which is Winged Sorrow, has 80% accuracy, so you don't want to be fizzling with that 1%. That's just my opinion, and if you let's say you put that 11% accuracy, you have a very good counter to Lore Mantles, which is a good idea. So that being said, those are my stats, and my gear, it's very, very simple. It's just full Malster gear. And I'm not going to change any of this, actually, because let's say I do get any of the Rattlebones gear or anything, I lose pip chance, and I don't like that. If I lose pip chance, I go below 100, and I don't like that, so I'm not going to do that. I already explained the wand. This is my Fatal Razor that I just got. Definitely the best theme in game for Death Wizards. I could go with 10% pip chance, but I didn't need it, so I went with 9%. Gonna update the health jewel when I can. I talked about the theme, I talked about the ring, and here's my pet. The pet's a huge part of it. But before I say that, we did talk about the deck and what I plan on doing with it. This is definitely, in my opinion, the best death pet that you can get, which is double block, double resist, double damage on a red ghost. Red ghost is an extremely useful spell that you can't get TCs of easily, and obviously the card itself doesn't exist as a regular spell. So this is a really useful thing. You want bubbles. And if you notice, I actually don't have bubbles in here, and I need to fix that, now that I think about it. But, I mean, it's been working for me, so, you know, I've been changing bubbles just with Red Ghost. But you are going to want Age of Rex and Doom and Gloom in your main deck, which I'll, you know, I mean, here, let's do it right now. I don't face many Mitts. I don't face many Deaths, and, I guess we could go with 3 Dispels right there, 2 Infals. And now we're looking at probably 1 less stun thing and there. And I think we're looking at basically what we would do is 3 Doom and Glooms and 3 Age of Reckonings. We have a lot of bubble changes now, so I guess that's a nice little change that you just noticed. But this is an extremely good pet. I mean, not an easy pet to get, extremely good pet. There are people in the community that have this pet, though. They're a decent number, and I would definitely recommend trying to get it. But basically, the way this works, it's high block, full pip chance, moderate pierce, and very high damage with solid resist. The way to do this is just balancing out all your stats and going for very defensive moves. Let's say you're going against a balance, make sure that you put up a lot of these set shields. You'll make sure that the gaze doesn't hit very easily. If you're going against an ice, make sure that you blade stack very quickly and go on the offensive and use plenty of drains. That's what will get you the win, because you can heal and they can't. If you're going against a fire, these dispels are going to come in extremely handy. Cloak the volcanics, it'll help you a lot. But if you're starting to get the gist of it, this deck works for every school because it has dispels for every school. So I urge you to try it, and tell me how it works. But thank you for watching this gear and deck setup. And I'll update you guys. Maybe, you know, maybe I'll get the tier 1 amulet and the tier 1 deck, and we can really fix this up. But until then, these are really good stats that I think will get me far in PvP, but we'll see. Anyways, hope you guys enjoyed the video. Stay awesome, and yeah!